So hello everybody and welcome to your class today. We are going to start our class today lying down, so lying down on your back. You can have your knees bent or legs stretched out along the mat. Find a way that you can lie comfortably, feel that your back feels comfortable, back of your head feeling comfortable. Arms can rest to the side of your body or resting on your belly. And then starting today with a deep breath in through your nose and releasing with a sigh through your mouth. And in settling into our yoga practice, lying down, you have that feeling of being able to, on your inhalation, expand your torso. But on the exhalation, feeling that release, that letting go of the breath, letting go of tension as your body relaxes into the surface beneath you. So resting your awareness with your breath, noticing your breath. And with each breath that you take, you're trying to create more space in your belly and your chest to contain your ever expanding inhalation. And then slowing your exhalation down on the way out. Today for our pranayama, we'll work with kumbhaka or breath retention. And the rough pattern that we'll use is an inhalation for a count of 4, holding your breath for a count of 8, exhaling for a count of 8, and then pausing at the bottom of your exhalation roughly for a count of 4. I'll guide you through the first one and then I'll let you do another 3 rounds yourself. So start by inhaling normally through your nose, exhaling with a sigh completely, and then inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, holding your breath 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, exhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, pause 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue with this pattern yourself, and you can count as fast or as slow as you wish. Using this pranayama exercise at the beginning, not just to expand your breath, your retention, but also to still your mind. So if your mind is feeling busy with the contents of the day so far, concentrating on this length of inhalation, retention, exhalation, retention. Our breath is our connection between our bodies, between our minds. And our breath is also the way to trigger our parasympathetic nervous system or our relaxation response. The reassurance that we're safe and it's okay to relax. There's no rush to finish, but once you have finished, bring your breath back into a steady pace of inhalation and exhalation. Because we've set our exhalation longer than our inhalation, now when you're breathing in your steady pace, it may be that the exhalation is a little longer, and that's okay. But stay mindful of your breath and let your breath be fully present with you during your practice. And the first place we're going today is to bring the feet and the hands up towards the ceiling. You can bend your knees if the backs of the legs are feeling tight. Imagine if you were stuck to the ceiling, the legs and the arms would be dangling down. And then start to circle into your ankle joints and into your wrist joints. You can make this a slow or a faster movement, but the breath stays constant, that steady inhalation and exhalation. And then bending your right knee into your chest, left foot comes flat down to the ground. Start to make those circles come into your hip joint. One direction, and then the circles in the other direction. And from here, stretch your right leg back up towards the ceiling. By stretched, I mean you can have a bend in the knee. And start to take that left leg down towards the ground, really, really slowly. Find the place where you start to feel the muscle at the front of your left side of your hip. It's probably like maybe a centimeter off the floor is where you start to feel it. And take a couple of pulses up and down of that left heel. Then fully letting the left heel come down to the ground. See if you can actively press the back of your left leg into the ground and flex your left ankle so the toes are reaching towards your face. The right knee keeps drawing in towards your chest. From here, keep working with that left leg pressing down. Take the sole of your right foot and point it up towards the ceiling. Now you may be holding behind the right knee, or maybe the side of your right ankle, or even the side of your right foot. Start to draw your right knee towards your armpit. So actually in this pose, we're working into lengthening the front of your left hip. I mean, it's doing lots of other stuff as well, but this is why we have the left leg stretched. But your leg can be anywhere because maybe the foot can be here for you still to have the sensation here. So you're exploring within the context of your own body. Bending that right knee again towards your chest. And then take your left knee towards your chest to join your right knee. Maybe you notice a little difference one side and the other side. From here, take your right foot to the ground and start by making circular movements into your left hip joint, circling in one direction and then in the other direction. Draw your left knee into your chest and then reach your right foot up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, slowly, slowly taking that right heel down towards the ground, the leg is stretched. There will be a place where you start to feel into the front of your right hip. Once you feel that, pause for a moment and pulse up and down. And then bring the right heel down to the ground. See if you can start to press the back of your right leg into the ground. And then start to take your sole of your left foot up towards the ceiling, either holding behind the knee, side of the ankle, side of the foot. Feeling the release of your left knee towards your left armpit. All the time pressing the right leg firmly into the mat, flexing the ankle, toes reaching back towards you. Then bending the left knee towards your chest and bring your right knee to join it. A little bit of rocking from side to side. Take the soles of the feet flat to the mat. Feet are wide, knees are wide. Arms opening out to the side. On your inhalation, the knees are pointing up to the ceiling. As you exhale, take both knees down towards the right side of your mat. Inhaling, lifting the knees back to center. And exhaling, taking both knees down towards the left side. Inhaling, coming back to center. Your exhalation, the knees will come down to the right. Inhaling, coming back to center, and then as you exhale, the knees coming down to the left side. Inhaling, coming back to center. And exhale. Bring the knees back to your chest, rocking from side to side, this time using the momentum to roll over onto one side and come and sit up. Sitting cross-legged or even on a chair, because we're now working into our shoulders. So the fact that we're sitting cross-legged is just because there's a yoga mat here, but if this feels really uncomfortable, get up onto a chair. Hands beside your body. On your inhalation, reach the hands together above your head. Turning the palms to face out, exhaling, hands coming down, interlace fingers behind your back. Inhale to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Feel the upper chest lifting up, slightly lifting your chin. And exhaling to release. Working with the right hand only, so left hand can rest on the ground or on your leg. On your inhalation, reaching the right hand up to the ceiling. And then see if you can reach a little more. Take your hand slightly back towards the wall behind you. And as you exhale, slowly bend your elbow, feeling the release into the right side of the front of your chest. Also working this muscle around your right shoulder blade. Notice if your shoulder is trying to hike up. If so, drop the shoulder down. Reaching the hands out to the side. Inhaling to sit up tall. Exhaling, reaching the back of your hand towards the wall behind you without twisting. Again, see if you can keep that shoulder down. Coming back to the side, bend your elbow, pressing as if against resistance, elbow and hand coming towards the center line. Stretch your arm forward, take the hand towards the outside, left hand to the outside of the right arm. Draw your arm across your body. Notice if this shoulder immediately tries to hike up. It might in order to let you go further, but then see if you can keep it down, even if it means you go less far. And then releasing the arm. Same thing with our left hand, inhaling, reaching the hand up. Then a little more, back of the hand reaches slightly back. Then take elbow and hand down. Keep trying to draw the left shoulder down. And it's the left side of your shoulder blade that's trying to move inwards towards the center line. Straighten out your left hand, left arm, and then taking the back of your left hand towards the wall behind you. So notice when you resist taking it into a twist, that you feel the engagement of the muscle around your shoulder blade. Coming back to reaching to the side, bend your elbow. On your exhalation, bringing elbow and hand towards the center line of your body. Keep trying to draw left shoulder down. Stretch your left arm, right hand to the outside, and then experiment with drawing this across your body. And releasing the arm. Again, inhaling to reach your arms up. Exhaling, hands coming down. Now go as if to interlace the fingers, but don't actually interlace them. Instead, you're reaching diagonally back behind you, but using the muscles in your upper back to draw the shoulder blades together rather than using the bind to bring them together. Inhaling, also lifting the chest forward, and see if you can slightly think about lifting your baby fingers up towards the ceiling. So this is a movement we'll come into in various places during the practice today. All of these preparations is so that when we go into more challenging variations of poses, that our body is not surprised. It's like, oh yeah, I remember I did this when I was sitting down. And then releasing, you can start to circle into the shoulders a bit. We'll take a spinal twist before we get into our tabletop position. So take your left hand to the outside of your right knee, right fingertips behind you. Inhaling to lengthen through the spine, exhaling, spinal twist to the right. Notice if you're jutting your face and chin forward. If so, could you take the back of your head back? Right hand reaches up to the ceiling. As you exhale, come into a slight side bend to the left, side bend with a twist. And then we're dropping right hand to left knee. Right elbow is on top of left. Inhaling to sit up tall, grabbing for fingers, hands together, or resting hands on the shoulders. Inhaling to lift the elbows up. Exhale, think shoulders down. Inhaling, elbows up. Exhaling, forearms to the right, head to the left, so left ear towards left shoulder. Adding in a slight neck release here also. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhale, elbows down towards your lap and then release hands to your opposite knees. Slide left hand out, left fingers behind. Inhaling to sit up tall, exhaling, spinal twist to the left. Especially if you've been sitting down quite a lot today or doing a lot of skipping. You're easing out the body, you're bringing the body into a different direction of movement, of holding. Left hand reaching up to the ceiling. As you exhale, side bend to the right with a twist. Drop the left hand to your right knee, so left elbow is on top of right. Inhaling to sit up tall, bring the hands together. As you inhale next, elbows lift up, and then as you exhale, shoulders down. And then take your forearms towards the left, your right ear towards your right shoulder. That can still work if your hands are on your shoulders. Think about keeping this shoulder down as you let the ear release towards your opposite shoulder. Coming back to center again. Inhaling to lift, exhaling, elbows draw down into your lap, and then release. Okay, coming into tabletop position. Wrists are under shoulders, knees under hips. On your inhalation, tilting your pelvis, tummy dips down. Lift your chin so you can look forward. And as you exhale, tuck your tailbone under, round your back. Chin comes towards your chest. Inhaling to tilt the pelvis, tummy down. Feel like you're pulling your chest forward between your arms. And exhaling, round your back. We'll keep going. It's the same movement, but this time lifting your left leg also. Inhaling to tilt the pelvis, tummy down. Lift left foot up to the ceiling. Feel like you're drawing your chest forward between your arms. Lift your chin. And now slow movement on your exhalation, rounding the back, knee comes towards your nose. So of course you can move a bit faster. Inhaling, you can sweep the leg up, but then you're using the momentum rather than finding like your control and using the muscular strength to stabilize the movement. Exhaling, rounding your back, knee comes towards your nose, then step your right foot forward between your hands. Foot and shin press down into the mat. Inhaling, lifting hands up to the ceiling. Immediately squeeze your left glute muscle, tailbone down, lower belly lifted up like you're pulling up the front of your trousers. Notice what's going on with your shoulders. If they feel like they're up here, take a deep breath in, sigh your breath out, let the shoulders come down. That can be a very nice feeling. And now sweep your hands down to the ground. Without changing anything in your torso, reach the hands towards the back of the mat. So we're not like coming into a movement like this. We're still drawing tailbone down, squeezing glute, lower belly lifted, but now also squeezing the shoulder blades together and feeling like the baby fingers want to lift slightly up. Next exhalation, hands come down to the mat. Step your right foot back and again lift it up towards the ceiling. We're back in our tiger pose, Vyakrasana. Now adding in a movement of our left arm, sweeping left arm towards right foot. So either you're staying here, reaching towards foot, or grab your ankle. Can you see I'm flexing my ankle? Pressing the front of the ankle into your hand. So you're kind of working into your left shoulder extension also, as well as the front of your right hip. On your exhalation, releasing the foot, knee and hand come back down to the mat. We'll take all of this on the left side as well. So inhaling to tilt your pelvis, tummy dips down, look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, rounding your back, chin towards your chest. Adding in the left leg as well. Inhaling to tilt the pelvis, tummy down, lift your left foot up towards the ceiling. Exhaling, slowly, slowly rounding the back, bringing left knee towards your nose. Inhaling, left foot reaches up to the ceiling. Exhaling, slowly rounding your back, knee to nose. And then keep your left foot moving forward. Hand, foot between hands. Foot and shin pressing into the mat. Inhaling to lift the arms up. Immediately you're going into squeezing the right glute, tailbone down, lower belly lifted up. Feeling into what's happening in the shoulders as you now sweep hands down towards the ground and towards the back of the mat, starting to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Your choice how much you lift the baby fingers up towards the ceiling. And constantly you're feeling into what's going on in your body. If there's pain, if there's tweakiness, you're adjusting the position, easing off, moving about, and staying with that steady inhalation and exhalation. Next exhalation, take the hands back down to the mat. Take your left foot back and again lifting up towards the ceiling. So steadying yourself, releasing right hand, right shoulder extension. So right hand reaching back towards left foot. Maybe you're grabbing the ankle, maybe you're reaching. So the left ankle pressing into right hand. So in this more challenging place to be where you have to find your balance, keep with your steady inhalation and exhalation. On your exhalation, release. So sometimes when we're in a challenging place, we hold our breath because I'm sure you've noticed this. When you are concentrating on something or you have to really think about something, you suddenly realize you're holding your breath so you can concentrate more. Can you keep with the steady breath even in places of challenge? Send your hips back towards your heels. Reach your arms forward. Head comes down towards the ground. In this position, take a deep breath in to feel like you're ballooning the back of your body up towards the ceiling. And as always, if this child's pose is not great for your knees or your hips, bring the forearms down and keep the hips a little higher. Let your head hang loose. On your next inhalation, lift your body up, and then we're going to come up to standing. So the rest of our sequences today are moving through variations within sun salutations. Coming to the top of your mat, feet together, hands reaching down, and already start to feel the glutes engaging, lifting lower belly slightly up. Inhaling to bring the palms together above your head. Exhale, slight side bend to the right. Inhaling, coming back to center. And exhaling, side bend to the left. Inhaling, reaching the hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, little bend in the knees, folding forward. Hands to thighs, inhaling for halfway lift. Exhaling, bend your knees so hands can come down to the ground. And step back into either plank or plank with knees on the ground. In this position, on your inhalation, lift your belly and your chest away from the ground. And then exhaling, bend your elbows, slowly lowering down to the mat. Arms reaching alongside the body, working, strengthening the back of the body. Inhaling to lift your chest, lift your arms, lift your legs off the mat. Squeeze your glutes. Exhaling to lower down. Again, inhaling, lift your chest, lift your arms, lift your legs. And exhaling to release, hands coming behind your shoulders. Inhaling to lift up to tabletop position. On your exhalation, tuck your toes and lift your belly, chest away from the ground. Hover your knees off the mat. So coming into this bear claw instead of downward facing dog, just for this round. So staying here for a couple of breaths, see if you can stay with your steady inhalation and exhalation. On your exhalation, bring the knees back to the mat, and then step your right foot to the top of your mat, right foot outside right hand. So you can have the hands up on a chair, you can press into a wall, you can even lift up onto your thigh. So we are working into a little bit more lengthening into the front of the left hip. May even feel better to slide the back leg further away or bring it closer. However you are, thinking, lengthening through the spine, chest reaching forward. Foot and left shin pressing down to the mat. And then feeling like your right heel is trying to pull back and your left knee is trying to pull forward, as if you're trying to scrunch up your yoga mat. So it doesn't need to be super deep. It doesn't need to be entering into splits. You can be quite high and still have all of that action. On your next exhalation, easing the hips back. And then taking right hand to the outside of your right foot, tuck your toes under, bring left foot to the top of the mat, forward fold. Little bend in the knees, inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. Exhaling, hands coming down. Inhaling, reaching the hands up above your head. Exhale, a sway to the left. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, sway to the right. Inhaling, reaching the hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, little bend of the knees, folding forward. Hands to shins or thighs, inhaling for halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to the mat, step back into plank or plank with knees down on the ground. Squeeze your glutes, inhaling, lifting belly and chest away from the ground. Exhale, knees to the mat, lower yourself down. Arms reaching alongside your body. Inhaling to peel your chest off the mat, lift your arms, lift your legs. Exhaling, lowering down, hands behind your shoulders. Inhaling, lifting up into tabletop position. This time tucking the toes, exhaling, downward facing dog. Hips lifting up and back. Pedal out your feet a bit, easing into the backs of the legs. The hamstrings are feeling tight. Lift your heels a little higher and bend your knees. Bring both knees down to the mat and then step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Finding the place for either fingertips, hands, wall, whichever variation you would like. Lengthening through your spine, reaching the chest forward, but pressing left foot, right shin firmly into the mat and trying to, as if you're trying to scrunch up your yoga mat with heel and knee pulling in opposite directions. Keep squeezing your right glute as well. On your exhalation, sending the hips slightly back, easing out the pose. Left hand comes back outside your left foot, tuck right toes, right foot forward, forward fold. Bend into your knees, inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. And exhaling, hands down. We'll keep going, inhaling, reaching arms up. Exhale to fold forward. Hands to shins or thighs, inhaling for halfway lift. Exhaling, hands to the ground, step your right leg back, knee comes down to the mat, untuck the toes. Your next inhalation, sweep arms up to the ceiling. Maybe you can think of lifting your chest a little more, lift your chin. On your next exhalation, hands to the mat, tuck right toes under, step back into your plank. Inhale, belly and chest reach away from the ground. Exhale, knees to the mat, lower all the way down to the ground. Slide your hands forward, take elbows under shoulders. Can always be a little further forward or a little out to the side, so be mindful of how this feels in your back. Keep squeezing the muscles in your glutes, pressing forearms into the mat and lifting out from between your shoulder blades so you're not hanging out here in the shoulder blades. Tuck your toes under on your next inhalation, lifting hips and belly off the mat, coming into forearm plank. And on your exhalation, lowering back down. Inhale in your Sphinx pose. Exhale, lower down to the ground, hands behind your shoulders. Inhaling, lifting up into tabletop position. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. On your inhalation, step your right foot to the top of the mat. Keep the left knee lifted, and then lift your hands up to the ceiling. Same thing, glutes are squeezing, tailbone down, lower belly up. And just as we did when we were kneeling, sweeping the arms down and back towards the back of the mat. Notice if you're like arching fully the back, see if you can keep drawing the tailbone down. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. On your exhalation, take your hands back to the mat, step your left foot to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. Let's keep going. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to shins or thighs, inhaling for halfway lift. Exhaling, hands to the mat, step your left leg back, knee to the ground, untuck your toes. Inhaling, reaching the arms up to the ceiling. And exhaling, hands down to the mat, step back into plank. Inhaling, lifting belly and chest away from the ground. Exhaling, knees to the mat, lower all the way down. Bring your hands forward, take elbows under shoulders. Inhaling to squeeze the glutes, lift out from between your shoulder blades. Press your forearms into the ground, and as if you're trying to pull the chest forward, just like we did in our kneeling pose when we did the tiger pose. From here, bend your right knee, and as if you're squeezing a tennis ball behind your right knee, bring your heel towards your hips. Keep drawing the chest forward. And if you wish to do so from here, pressing the left forearm into the mat, Take your right hand with thumb facing down, reaching it back towards that right ankle, that same extension of your shoulder joint. Either staying here or grab the ankle. And again, the front of the ankle is pressing into your fingers, working into your shoulder joint. Keep squeezing your glutes so you're not just hanging out in this position. On your exhalation, release, hand comes back down to the mat and foot down too. Lower your body down. Hands coming behind shoulders, tuck the toes, inhaling, lifting up to tabletop. Exhaling back to downward facing dog. On your inhalation, step your left foot forward between your hands. Keep the right knee lifted. When you have your balance, lifting the arms up to the ceiling. On your exhalation, sweeping hands down and reaching arms towards the back of the mat. Keep drawing the tailbone down, knitting lower belly and lower rib cage together. On your next exhalation, hands coming down to the mat. Right foot comes forward, you're in a forward fold. Little bend in the knees, inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. Let's keep going, exhaling, folding forward. Hands to thighs or to shins, inhaling for halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to the ground, step back into plank position. Inhaling, lifting belly and chest away from the ground. Exhale, knees drop to the mat, lower down to the ground. Take hands forward, elbows coming roughly under the shoulders again. Squeezing the glutes, pressing forearms down, drawing the chest forward. Now the tennis ball is behind your left knee. So bend your left knee and bring your heel towards your hip. See if you can flex your ankles, the toes are pointing towards the end of your mat. Keep pressing your hip bones into the ground. And from here, pressing your right forearm more firmly into the mat. If you wish to take this additional little extra, you can take your left hand, thumb is facing down, reaching that left hand towards your left ankle. Either keeping it here or grab your ankle and then gently pressing the top of your ankle into your hand. On your exhalation, release. Hand comes down, foot comes back to the mat. Lower your body down. Hands coming behind your shoulders. Inhaling, lifting up to tabletop position. This time on your exhalation, send your hips back towards your heels. Rest your head down to the ground. You choose whether arms are alongside your body, palms facing up, or arms reaching forward in front of you. In this position, checking in with your breath again, checking if you've still got that steady pace of inhalation and exhalation. On your next inhalation, coming to tabletop position. Exhaling, tuck the toes, lifting hips up and back, downward facing dog. And then walking the feet towards your hands, bend your knees any amount. Come to the point where you can dangle the arms down towards the ground, and then grab your elbows. You can sway gently from side to side. Then bend your knees a little more, release your arms. Inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. Exhaling, hands coming down. Okay, so next part has a balance at the beginning and at the end. If you want to be near the wall or have a chair nearby, because the focus of the pose is not the balance as such, it's just that it's working into a particular part which needs to have one foot lifted off, so that's why we're balanced. But because we're focusing on a particular body area, if the balancing aspect is a distraction, then use something that will support you so you can bring your focus and awareness to the place where we are focusing. Feet together, squeezing the glutes, either palms together or using your support. Again, the tennis ball is behind your right knee. So take the weight into the left foot, find your balance on your left foot, bend your right knee, squeezing the heel towards your hip. So here, notice that when you send your hips back, there's a different feeling and sensation than when you press your hip bones forward. Maybe then you feel it more in your glutes and your hamstrings. From here, taking the right leg back into warrior one position. Warrior one, back foot flat, front knee is bent, tailbone down, lower belly lifted up, squeeze this right glute. Inhaling, reaching arms up to the ceiling, and exhaling, sweeping arms down and back. Same as we've been doing in other parts. So you're using your muscles to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Fingertips reaching down and maybe lifting slightly up. From here today, we are going to take our torsos forward and then bring the palms together in front of our chest. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to move back a little bit or I'll hit my wall. And we're going to take the weight into this left leg, not a warrior three today, but we're going to again squeeze the tennis ball behind the right knee. So lift your right heel off the mat, keep reaching forward with your chest, taking all the weight into that left foot, and then bend your right knee. I'm still keeping left knee bent today. So both knees are bent, chest is reaching forward. Oops. On your next exhalation, keep the left knee bent, take the right foot down beside the left, both knees are bent, and then reach your arms down to the ground. Inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. And exhaling, hands coming down. So we've been preparing our body today for another variation of back bend. Today it's Natarajasana or dancer pose. So this is, we've lengthened the front of our hip and into our thigh. We've been working the hamstring muscle and the glute muscle. We've been strengthening the back body. We've been extending our shoulder, which is preparing us for everywhere where we're about to go just now. There's variations here, so you can choose where you go with this. Again, left hand can use a wall, or you can pinch finger to thumb and use it to balance you as a counterbalance forward. So tennis ball is behind your right knee. From here, reaching right hand back. So you can see we kind of had this lying flat on our fronts. From here, you can start to lift the foot up and the knee away, and maybe you're able to grab the ankle. And from here, just like we did in a couple of places, you can press the front of the ankle into the hand and experiment with the lift of the foot and the taking the knee towards the back of your mat. We're still working with the front of the chest, so we're not dipping down to the ground. Instead, we're trying to reach the chest forwards and up. You can lift maybe this left hand up if you're using a support, or turn and you've got your balance here. In this pose, keep breathing. And then on your exhalation, slowly easing out of the pose. Don't just drop everything. Feel yourself coming out of it. I'm going to take that little sequence on the other side as well. So feet flat on the mat, palms together, tennis ball behind your left knee, squeezing the heel towards your hips. And again, noticing if you let the bum reach back is different sensation than when you press your hip bones forward. You can feel the hamstring muscle and the glute. Bend your right knee, step your left foot back, coming into warrior one position. Inhaling to reach the arms up to the ceiling, squeezing left glute, lifting the hips at the front up. As you exhale, hands reaching down and back, squeezing shoulder blades together. And now taking the torso forward, chest reaching forward, bring the palms together in front of your chest, keep the bend in the right knee, Start to lift your left heel. When you have the weight into the right foot, see if you can again squeeze the tennis ball behind your left knee. Oops. Keeping the bend in both knees, bring the left foot beside the right foot and drape your hands down towards the ground. Inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. And exhaling, hands down. Let's come into our dancer pose on the other side. So we're lifting the left leg. Using support, we're pinching the finger. So again, we start bending the left knee, tennis ball is behind your knee. And then extending the shoulder. So left hand with palm down is reaching towards this left foot. Start to lift the knee further away. Maybe you're staying here, or maybe you have the ankle in your hand. Wherever you are, feeling what you feel in the pose. And you have the option, if you've got the bind, of pressing ankle against your hand and experimenting in the pose. All the time, the chest is reaching forwards and up, hand up. So the common thing is this in this pose is that people dip down to try and lift the leg up. But this is a spine extension, so see if you can find that lift in the chest forward as well as you explore into this. And then on your exhalation, gently releasing the pose. I'm going to come down to the ground. So come to lie on your back. And after all that quite intense work down the back of the body, let's find a very neutral place for the spine to be. So come to lie flat on your back. The spine is not doing any work here. Rest your hands on your belly, and the legs can either be knees bent, feet flat. You can take the feet wide, let the knees fall in towards each other, or take the soles of the feet together, let the knees fall open to the side. So given that this is on our way towards Shavasana, our final relaxation, take the version that feels best for your back right now. So if your back is feeling like, whew, you've really worked it quite a lot and you need to be in a less challenging place, what is that for you? Resting hands on your belly, feeling the breath fill your belly and your chest, and then feeling that release on the exhalation as everything kind of surrenders to gravity on the way down. If your knees were open to the side, take your hands to the outside of the legs, bring your knees back together again. So we're coming back in the position of feet hip distance and knees above the feet. Take your right ankle across your left knee, right knee open to the side. You can choose to stay here or to lift the left foot off the mat and hold behind the left knee or around the left shin. So if you went straight into lifting the foot up, ask yourself why. Because sometimes in our minds we're like, oh, well, we should do the most challenging version. But actually maybe what we need is the one that has more ease in it. Often as adults, that's a really difficult decision to make. Although if you have children or you've hung around with children and you see how they operate, they have a tendency towards ease, whereas adults, we have this tendency to want to challenge ourselves. Releasing the right foot back down to the mat, and then take the same position on the left side. Left ankle across right knee, left knee opens to the side. Choosing whether you keep the foot on the ground or you lift the right foot. And it may feel better to lift, but then again, it may feel better to have the foot down. In our yoga practice, we give ourselves space to observe the way our mind thinks. And it's not criticizing, it's not saying, oh, I shouldn't think like this, but just like, oh, interesting. That was my reaction to that. Our yoga practice is a practice also of self-regulation. If you've lifted your foot, bring it back down to the ground, and then take the left foot back to the mat. And the last place we're going today in our practice is into Shavasana, our final relaxation. So come into the position that you would like to take, whether it's lying stretched out on your mat, arms to the side, feet reaching towards the corners, or maybe you're keeping your knees bent. Maybe you're putting a cushion under your head. Maybe it's your house, getting a blanket. When you are comfortable and cozy, take a deep breath in and sigh your breath out. Maybe you sigh, an audible sigh, make a noise. And then you're entirely letting go of the need to control the breath, for the breath to be a certain way. You're letting your body completely relax. The physical practice is now complete. And you're letting your mind relax. You don't need to concentrate on instructions anymore. Give yourself this last couple of minutes of your practice to not have to do anything, not have to think anything. Let yourself just be. Feel the after effects of the yoga practice in your body. Sometimes when we tune in, we can feel that humming or buzzing or that feeling of life under our skin. The aliveness of our physical body, of our energy body. We connect with that inner intelligence of our body. And even what we call our bliss body. That core of ourself that sits right at the center when you take off all of the layers. Now slowly start to deepen your breath. And bring intentional movement back into your body, moving fingers, toes. Maybe gently moving your head from side to side. Maybe it feels good to take a full body stretch or hug your knees into your chest. And then roll over onto one side and bring yourself back up to seated. Maybe leave your eyes closed a moment longer. Close our practice, bring palms together. Take a deep breath in. And gently sigh your breath out. Notice how you feel right now, how it feels to be you. And send that thanks towards yourself for giving yourself time for your practice today. And feel yourself ready to begin life again. Life begins in every new moment. Every new moment is once more filled with possibility. And thank you so much for sharing your practice. Namaste.